Greetings everyone, and welcome back to Pep Organ. I've just come from practicing the carillon, practicing some fun music, a range of classical tunes and pop songs and film music, all wonderful music that sounds really nice on the bells. So that's been good fun. Today what I want to talk about in this video is living genuinely. I've been thinking about this lately because I do see people occasionally who are not living genuinely. And it's sad, right? Because I think that everyone should really be living authentically to who they are. And if you're not, then you're usually going to be depressed or in some kind of bad state. To live genuinely, in my view, is to authentically sort of accept who you are as a person, which means accepting both your strengths and also your shortcomings, and just sort of finding peace with whatever you've been dealt in life. If you've been dealt the situation that you might not be as good a musician, as maybe as fast on the keyboard as someone else, that's something you have to sort of learn to accept, or maybe to work through by working on your technique or in trying to improve in some way. But there is a limit to what we can all do. Personally, I find that I have many weaknesses, and I just have to accept those things. I've never had, for instance, a mind that can comprehend sort of the engineering side of organs or instruments in general. I just have no possibility, no capacity to understand sort of the engineering and the sort of inner workings of an organ or musical instruments in that kind of regard. And that's just how that's how I am. And for other people, they may feel like they are really good at that thing, or maybe they're really good at, they love analyzing music, but they don't so much enjoy playing it. Analysis is actually something else I'm not so good at on music. I don't really have a good grasp of analyzing chord patterns and understanding sort of process behind composers, how they write their music. I compose myself, but that doesn't mean I have any ability to analyze or really understand the work of others. Living genuinely is also about not trying to live for the sake of others. And this is the key point I want to talk about today. When you truly live genuinely, you're at peace with the world. And being at the peace with the world doesn't mean everything is ideal and you've got everything you've ever wanted. It sort of means that you're at peace with yourself, whatever that looks like. One thing that has changed about me and in the last few years, and perhaps noticeably on Pep Organ, is what I wear. In the past, I would always wear lots of cravats and ties and waistcoats and frock coats and all these things. And that's who I was at the time. That's what I really loved wearing. I loved showing the world that I was different, and that I was someone who really enjoyed the Victorian style, Victorian era, and dressing up and playing. But it wasn't just for show, of course, it was also something I wore every day. And I did that for about 6 or 7 years. But I decided to change that as well, because after many years of doing that, I realized that that's who I wasn't actually that person genuinely, or perhaps I was once, but I had changed. So one other thing about living genuinely is being able to accept that change does actually happen. It's just a part of life. So ultimately, maybe you've really grown attached to this identity of who you are. Maybe it's something to do with your career. Maybe it's something to do with, being a parent, or being a carer for someone. And then perhaps one day that changes. And it can be quite shocking, quite difficult to work through that. One thing that I always thought of myself as is quite a concert musician, right? But then I got an injury, right? And that changed how I had to view the world. And these things happen in life, some things that are completely out of your control. I think what living genuinely does is, as I said, finding peace with that, being able to accept your circumstance or whatever kind of condition you have to deal with, and working through that, sort of living with that, accepting it, and being a part of it. I used to wear all these historical clothes Today, something a bit simpler, something I actually really love. In fact, I think since I've been very young, what my true personality has been about, and my sort of way of viewing the world, has actually been about living very simply. Living a very simple life, dressing in a simple way, not being ostentatious. It's funny because I kind of flipped right around with how I viewed the world and how I did this. Because before I was dressing in Victorian clothes, I was basically wearing hoodies and, black clothes, like pretty much only black. And now we've come full circle again, and I'm kind of back to that. Maybe I've gone through my, whatever you want to call it, my sort of late teenage phase, my 20s, early 20s. I've moved on to something new, but here I am. I have a very simple wardrobe at this time. I don't really like wearing ties anymore. I don't have any of my cravats. They're all gone, pretty much. And that's how it is now. Like, I actually really like that. And for me, the simplicity that has come from that, of not having to worry about what to wear, just having sort of one or two styles, has really improved my life. And I think it's improved it because it's put me more in touch with who I am now. If you just stay stuck on who you once were, you'll never be able to look forward and see what's coming into the future. And often the future is very exciting. You never know what's going to happen. For me, for instance, I actually had no idea that I was going to be learning the Carillion one day. And yet here I am practicing away at it every week. So you never know what's going to happen either. But if you don't live genuinely, you don't really have that opportunity to open up to new experiences and be ready for change and be able to accept change. So I thought I'd just talk about that today, because I think some people have wondered, why has Pep Organ's style changed? Why does he not wear what he used to wear? I've pretty much thrown all those clothes out. That was surpassed me. That was a different version of who I was. I'm someone else now, and so, that's cool. I think it's great, and I think that it's exciting when people do, do change how they are and try something new. So with all that in mind, make sure you live genuinely. Don't compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to others. You're not others. You are just only yourself, and you can only follow your own journey and your own path. Being jealous, being resentful of others never gets you anywhere. And while I used to be jealous of other people and resentful and all those things, I've moved on, and I think you have to do that as well. It doesn't matter what you think of other people or whether you think that you've been cheated in life. The problem is, and the reality is, no matter how much you feel like you've been cheated in life or things haven't gone your way for whatever reason, feeling that way doesn't actually improve your situation. You have to just move past it. So I hope we can all move past sort of the sad things that have happened in the past, sort of move past that and accept them, but also find something new and something great. So live genuinely, and have a great day, have a great evening, wherever you are watching this from. That's Pep Organ, being genuine, just talking about life. But of course, all of this applies not just to life, but also to music. And make sure that you play the music that you genuinely love and that you genuinely want to share with the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.